Welcome to this explainer. Today we're diving into Christicism, Christocode 926, raw power versus sustained strategy. I am absolutely thrilled you're here because we are stepping right onto the field of what is honestly one of the most fascinating allegorical arenas ever constructed. We're looking at a profound clash of mindsets, all wrapped up inside this high-stakes physical challenge. In this explainer, we're going to break down the sheer mechanics of effort and explore why the way you're currently tackling your biggest obstacles might actually be burning you out. We're stepping into the world of the light bearers and the mechanized to witness a battle not just of strength, but of physics, philosophy, and focus. Let's get right into it.
Okay, picture this incredibly vibrant, grounded scene. The light above is a bruising, deep indigo. Beneath our competitor's feet is a sea of fine, shifting white sand. And notice, there are no flashing lights here, no digital distractions, no glitchy stadium screens, just a deeply serene, high-vibrational atmosphere with beautifully detailed backgrounds. Standing right there in the sand are two perfectly normal 20-year-olds, and they're about to face off in a test of pure capability. Facing each of them is a row of 12 massive stone towers. So who wins? Is it going to be the one who fights the hardest, or the one who thinks the clearest?
So this specific event is called the Sovereignty Sentinels. And these aren't just your average building blocks. We're talking about 8-foot-tall, incredibly heavy stone towers with these wide, flared bases anchoring them deep into the sand. They're spaced 5 feet apart, but here's the trick. Their orientations are completely random. Some face left, some face right. If you just knock one over, it's not guaranteed to hit the next one. This challenge represents pure mechanical necessity. To tip even a single one of these giants requires a massive burst of internal energy, what the competitors call glow power, or raw aura. Honestly, knocking down 3 or 4 would leave a normal person completely vibrationally bankrupt.
Section 1. Diesel's Brute Force. The Trap of Impulse.
Okay, let's dive right into this by looking at our first competitor. His name is Diesel, he's representing the mechanized faction, and his strategy is, well, it's something a lot of us might recognize in our own lives when we're staring down a massive project. It's the trap of impulse. Diesel vibrates with this jagged heat. The starting gun cracks, and he doesn't just push, actually scratch that, he explodes. He leaps into the air with this primal shout, slamming both feet into the first tower. It falls. He screams one, and immediately scrambles up, panting, totally frantic. He charges the second tower, then the third, literally using his shoulder as a battering ram. He's a complete blur of jagged motion, burning through his internal bank account of energy, just chasing that fleeting dopamine spark of the next knockdown. It's fast, it's breathless, and it is entirely chaotic.
You see, Diesel is operating on this philosophy called impulse authenticity. He genuinely believes that if you aren't struggling, if you aren't sweating and screaming and fighting gravity with literally everything you have, then it just isn't real. He even yells out that he doesn't need a plan, he just needs his truth. His whole approach is thick with this atmospheric slime of pride and ego. He wants the crowd to see him suffer and conquer. He's fighting the system, he's fighting the stone, fighting gravity itself, rather than taking even a second to understand it.
But as we all know, human biology and raw energy have a hard physical limit. By the 7th tower, Diesel's face is this bruised plum purple. By the 8th, his aura is just a flickering, exhausted gray. And then he hits number 9. He gives it this final, desperate kick fueled by sheer willpower. He's in a state of running purely on fumes known as the liquid lifestyle. The 9th tower falls, but Diesel goes down right with it. He collapses into the white sand, chest heaving, muscles twitching, absolutely vibrationally bankrupt. He looks over at his opponent with his prideful, exhausted smile, bragging that he got 9.
Section 2. Evan's Strategic Alignment, Master of the Blueprint.
Let's take a deep breath here and slow things right down. Because while Diesel was frantically burning out, our other 20-year-old competitor, Evan, representing the light bearers, was doing something entirely different. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the total contrast in philosophy. Diesel relies on impulse reaction, while Evan relies on what's called divine alignment. While the crowd was up there mocking Evan, screaming that he was just playing with his blocks, Evan ignored them completely. He wasn't even trying to push his towers over. Instead, he walked down his row, placed his hands on the sides of the stone, and simply began to twist them.
Evan understands a totally fundamental truth. Twisting a base against the sand only fights friction, but pushing it over fights gravity. By just rotating the heavy blocks in place, he preserves his golden reserve of energy. He acts out of this deep, profound inner stillness. He breathes deeply, entirely ignores the soulless noise of the crowd, and methodically creates what is known as sacred geometry, squaring each tower perfectly with the back of the one before it.
Section 3. The Domino Effect. Sacred Geometry in Action. Let's see how this builds, because this is where the magic really happens. Evan finishes twisting all 12 of his towers into a perfect linear alignment. And guess what? He isn't exhausted at all. He is perfectly tuned. His internal threefold flame is burning with this cool white brilliance. He walks calmly back to the very first tower. Now, Evan's execution is a literal masterclass in physics. Step 1 is already done. The centers of gravity are perfectly aligned. Step 2, Evan plants his feet, anchors his lower will to his higher self, and puts his weight into a single, focused push against the first tower. It's not a violent shove, it's a steady transfer of momentum. Step 3 is just letting the universe do the rest. The first tower tilts with this heavy grace and gravity takes over. Because they are perfectly squared, the energy doesn't scatter into the sand like Diesel's did. It channels perfectly, right down the line.
And right before that cascade begins, Evan delivers this incredible mic-drop truth to his exhausted opponent. He just looks at him and says, "The stone doesn't care about your struggle, Diesel. The stone only cares about the law." Wow, Evan didn't try to force the simulation to validate his ego. He simply aligned his own will with the way the system naturally works. He invited the stone to follow the law of mechanical necessity.
So what's the result? The sequence accelerates, a cascading wave of divine alignment. The stadium floor literally vibrates. In less than 6 seconds, all 12 massive towers fall. And Evan? He's still standing there, breathing calmly, his energy still showing a super healthy golden reserve. He used the exact same amount of strength required to topple a single tower, and he multiplied it to topple 12.
Section 4, the final score, metrics of victory.
And this brilliantly illustrates the data behind the strategy. To completely satisfy the blueprint in his mind, Evan actually walks over to Diesel's lane, where 3 towers are still standing upright. With 2 quick, effortless twists, he squares Diesel's remaining stones, gives the first one a sharp nudge, and boom, down they go. The gap between hustle and strategy is vast, you guys. Diesel, the drifter, expended maximum energy to achieve a chaotic mess of 9 felled towers, ending in total vibrational bankruptcy. Evan, the aligned, expended a tiny fraction of that energy to drop 15 towers total in perfect sequence, ending with his golden reserve completely intact. Strategy is a total force multiplier.
Even the judge of the event, Sir Pent, someone who usually looks for these serpentine loopholes and tempter logic to try and invert the victory, he just can't deny it. He looks at the beautiful sacred geometry Evan created, and with the clinical respect of a master architect, he just murmurs, "No contest." There is simply no loophole to exploit when craftsmanship is this undeniably superior.
The scoreboard flashes a blinding crystalline white. The Lightbearers take it, 4-2. The crowd absolutely erupts. The Lightbearers up in the stands let out a roar of vibrational clearing, this rhythmic, stadium-wide pulse of expanding energy. Meanwhile, Diesel is face down in the sand. His dopamine crashes hit hard, and the heavy truth of his failure is sitting right on his shoulders.
Section 5. Sustained power always wins. The takeaway.
So the crucial point is, why does a story about pushing over stone blocks matter to us? Well, because we constantly navigate a hustle culture that practically praises burnout. But the truth is, forcing a system just to satisfy your ego or prove your authenticity will always lead to rapid burnout. Secondly, working with the fundamental laws, whether that's physics, market dynamics, or human psychology, multiplies your effort exponentially. Divine alignment isn't about restricting your freedom, it's about multiplying your personal power, especially in your 20s. As the Sovereignty Sentinels Challenge proved, the constant and the aligned will always, always outlast the drifters and the autonomists.
I want to leave you with this final thought as we wrap up this explainer today. Take a look at whatever massive, heavy obstacle is sitting in front of you right now in your own life. Got it? Now ask yourself, are you frantically fighting the stone, exhausting yourself for just a tiny bit of progress? Or are you stepping back, ignoring the noise, and inviting it to follow the law? Think about it. Find your alignment, twist the base, and let the momentum work for you. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.